Welcome back to the Vertu YouTube channel. Now we've got an award-winning car for you. This car won World Urban Car of the Year 2025 at the World Car Awards. And it's got the funnest name ever. I don't know if funnest is a word, but I'm sticking with it. The Dolphin Surf by BYD. Does anything sound more fun than a dolphin surfing? I don't think so. Let's see if it lives up to its name. Now let's talk price. I think you're going to be pretty pleased at these numbers because an entry-level model of the BYD Dolphin Surf could be £18,675, or this one, as in this one here, the Boost in ice blue, could be yours for £20,470. That's all from a Vertu dealership today, as in the day of filming. Now Vertu have over 200 dealerships nationwide, but where do you shop for a BYD? Well, they've got 5 of those: Hartlepool, Macclesfield, Worcester, Gloucester and Morpeth. There we go. Just in case you were wondering where to shop. Okay, let's talk about the design. I'll talk about those nods to some very well-known brands in a moment. Let's start with the colour though. Ice blue. Now I think this is the colour of choice for me. There are some other colours as we flick through them now, but ice blue obviously goes very well with the name. And considering this design is actually inspired by ice crystals, it goes very, very nicely indeed. That floating roof and that sort of simplistic sort of front end. Nothing particularly sort of grabbing about it except those headlights. Now let me tell you about that. Now this car was designed by none other than Wolfgang Egger. Who's he? He doesn't know. That is the man that obviously designed Lamborghinis, and a little nod to the Audi R8 as well. And as you can tell, the LED headlight is a little bit of a nod to a Lambo with that sort of overhang there from the bonnet. I think definitely you can see similarities in the headlights, and I think that is quite comforting to know that someone so prestigious has designed the Dolphin Surf. So when you're driving it around, you go, do you know the same person that designed Lambo designed this? I mean, these similarities stop there, but I'll take it. Topped off with that sort of straight back with a little pokey out rear spoiler and the 16-inch alloy wheels, I think people are going to look at it on the road and think it's a very nice looking EV, small EV. Okay, let's talk about the important charging stuff, because this is crucial. Right, there are some trims. As I mentioned, the active trim will come with a 30 kilowatt hour battery, which will get you around about 137 miles of range. But this one is the Boost. Now that comes with a 43.2 kilowatt hour battery, and that will give you 200 miles worth of range. And there is a comfort model that is a little bit more of a performance model, same battery as the Boost, 43.2 kilowatt hours, but gets you slightly less on the range, around about 190 to 193 miles, because of that higher performance vehicle. But you can expect to be charging this to 10 to 80% worth of range in around about 22 to 30 minutes, which is pretty good, obviously in ideal conditions. So if we're talking about this being a family car, we're going to have to check out the boot space. Big enough for your Friday big shop, I definitely think. We've got a little bit of underfloor storage there for your charging cables and whatnot. There is a big load lip there that you do get in small EVs, so I'm not too fussed about that. 306 litres in total, so not the worst, definitely not the best. However, the 50-50 seat split is very easy to put down and turn those 306 litres into 1,037 litres of space. A little bit of a load lip there, but there we go. That's quite a lot of space. Right, on the inside of here, I'm pleasantly pleased with the comfort level. The seats are really, really nice. They've got a black and grey vegan leather upholstery, just to let you know. Got a little bit of black and grey design there. We've got, it feels very sporty, the seats. And the seat here, electric all the way, which I think is a nice touch. And for the price point, I didn't expect electric. I was expecting to having to use the old bar. So that is very, very good. Some quirkiness from the Dolphin is this dash. Now, there's a bit of hard plastic there, but it's got a little bit of design on it, so I'll forgive it. But this is a nice sort of textured material. It's not quite sort of suede or Alcantara, but it makes a difference to the prestigeness of it. It's not a prestige vehicle, but that is very, very cool. We've got some more quirkiness here. We've got a quirky gear selector. That is something I've not seen on anything else. It's got a little bit of a stand. It took me a little while, I'll be honest, to notice it, but I really quite like it now that it's there. I like things that are different. I think we're used to seeing the stalks here, we're used to seeing the thing here. I quite like that it's different. I don't know. We'll see what you guys think in the comments. Good news is we've got the infotainment system, and we've got a nice screen in keeping with the size of vehicle. It's a 10.1 inch infotainment system, but it has the really quite cool and funky thing that BYDs do. You press a button and it rotates. So I can have it vertical or I can have it horizontal, and I really quite like that, and BYDs really do impress me with it, and I have to press it about 100 times. Now remember, this is a small EV. We're not going to exactly set the world alight for storage. However, it's got an adequate amount. We've got a couple of cup holders here. We've also got a little bit of a place to store your phone. We've also got this big bit of storage here, so it is a little bit like that two-tiered sort of storage center console that we see in the larger cars. We've got USB-C here. We've also got USB, nicely situated. We've got a 12-volt charging point as well. Nice big door bins. So pretty satisfied with the storage on here. Another thing I would mention is family car, very friendly, because BYD are putting their ISOFIX up front as well. So obviously you can turn the airbag off and all that sort of stuff, and making sure your child is up front with you as well. And one more thing before I jump in the back and see what the space is like is make sure you get acquainted with your infotainment system if you are going to get a BYD. It is a really cool infotainment system, got all the climate control on there and everything like that. You can mess around with the screen and install apps and everything like that, but it does take a little bit of getting used to, so make sure you get acquainted before you set off on your journey. Now, good thing about this back seats, lots of space. That's my driving position. My feet go under the seats, which we know in electric cars, due to all the electricness being under there, the floor is raised and usually you can't get your feet under there, but I can on this, and I've got a load of headroom. So space and comfort on long journeys in this, fantastic. The only thing is lacking a little bit in terms of the mod cons that you can have back here. I've not got any vents, I've not got any charging points, no USB-C or USB or anything like that. I've also not got a centre armrest. In fact, only 2 passengers back here, similar to Toyota Aygo that we've driven before, and the Hyundai Inster. It's a 50-50 split, only 2 seats, even though with the flat floor you could get 3 in the back here, I think, no problem. Obviously you've got the ISOFIX points again, BYD making it very easy, no clips, no zips. I really do like the way BYD build their cars. They make it so user-friendly for the driver and passenger. The only thing is the backseat passengers just get a little bit less on the inside of the Dolphin Surf. However, for the price point, I'm pretty pleased. Now, before I get driving, it's worth mentioning that this has a 5-star rating when it comes to the Euro NCAP rating for safety, so that is a good thing. And it does come with all those features like your lane assist, your speed monitoring assistance, as well as braking features and all of that jazz. We're super eager to get behind the wheel of the BYD Dolphin Surf because it looks like a fun car. The design nods that I'll go into more detail once we're stationary made it look a little bit different to every other small car out there, and that's what happens when these new brands come into the market and you're like, oh, what's that? And anything named a Dolphin Surf, I want to see if it sort of lives up to the quite quirky name. Now, who's this car made for? Well, straight away it's made for in and around town driving, those shorter distances, made fun, I guess. And Is there a more fun animal out there than the dolphin? I mean, is there more fun sport that people would like to try than surfing? You know, I see where they're going with this. And straight away, you're greeted with that fun element, because you're able to put your foot down, and that instantaneous torque that the Dolphin Surf has makes it very manoeuvrable and really light in and around town. Gets off the line beautifully at a roundabout or a busy junction, and it actually is a real pleasure to drive. Now, most BYDs that I've actually driven a 2 or 3, courtesy of the Vertu YouTube channel, have been excellent cars to drive. No noise, very comfortable, with the passenger in mind. Everything is where it should be, and there's no difference with this small EV. The visibility out the back is fantastic. That's a massive screen there. Got great visibility here. Everything is where it should be. Now, interestingly, this was a very, very popular car in China, where this was born. Adapted for European roads, though, with the revised suspension, it actually works perfectly here in the UK. And with its price point, I guarantee you're going to see lots more of these cars. Rivals will include, I guess, things like the Hyundai Inster, the Citroën C3 EV, definitely those two. But this is going to be right up there for styling and comfort when it comes to driving. A couple of things that might be of interest: it does have the one pedal driving option. However, the regenerative option is not on here. This will regen through that one pedal driving option, as well as the blended brakes. So just worth mentioning, because I think when people think they're jumping in a small EV, they think they're all the same. There we go. That is the Dolphin Surf done. Now, in terms of value for money, small EVs, this could be the one that finally makes you go electric, or it could be that first time buy for you lucky first time drivers. Either way, you're not going to be disappointed. It looks the part, it does the trick, and it's really nice for in and around town driving. Do not take my word for it. Get down to a BYD Vertu dealership and try it for yourself. We will see you very, very soon for another car.